Welcome to ProCraft Jacksonville, guys. Today we're going to be learning how to build a wall box, and we're going to learn how to tell our wall boxes apart first. So first we're going to start out with our numbers. Every box is going to have a corresponding door and frame, right? So we have wall box, that's W, 30-15. So 30 inches wide, 15 inches deep. Same thing with the frame. It's going to tell you exactly where it goes. And LSW is our colors. So our colors are going to be different. We have Liberty Shaker white, we have Liberty Shaker gray. All that means is Liberty Shaker is the style of our doors, and then the last letter is our colors. Alright. First things first, you're going to need a few tools to be able to do this. Just a regular normal drill with a Phillips head screwdriver. You're going to need two different nail guns. You're going to need a 23 gauge pin nailer that comes with very tiny little nails. And then you're going to need an 18 gauge nail gun that looks like this. These kind of nails. Now these are always standard. All nails come standard, so if you're looking for nails at Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever it is, all you just got to look is for 18 and 23. That's the only numbers you need. Alright, so let's get started. First we want to open up our frame box. We want to be very careful that we don't scratch anything underneath. And if you are planning to store these boxes after building them or transporting them, I would recommend doing this next step. You don't want to cut these flaps off so that you can use the box later on to cover you. Alright, so you'll have your two doors or one door depending on the cabinet. They're always going to come like this. So it's always going to be wrapped for protection. And here's our frame. Next, we want to open up basically the insides of the box. This is going to have your sides, your tops, and everything else that goes with this. So we got our little box with our screws, the hinges, and everything like that. So we want to put that to the side for now. Then we have our sides. So our sides, if you look at it, these are the grooves for your sides. This is the groove for the back. And only one side has a dovetail. This is the side that goes into the frame. And we have our top and bottom. And then lastly, we have our back piece. First things first, we want to start out with our sides. For every box, you're always going to start with your side pieces first. So this dovetail, if you look right here, it matches the frame dovetail. So that's exactly where it's going to go. There's two different ways to doing this. You can come from the side and catch that dovetail like this, or if this piece is not as straight as it looks, you can just slide it right in. After you do that, you want to take our 23 gauge nailer, and you want to make sure that you're coming at a 45-degree angle. Now most nail guns already have that pre-designated 45-degree angle for you. Just enough to hold it there. You don't need too many, but also you don't want too little. You want to do both sides at a 45-degree angle. Now, if you don't do a 45-degree angle, these nails are going to come right through this face. And that's the last thing. Get our second piece on. Same thing, 45-degree angle. Don't want too many nails. Now we get to our tops and bottoms. So these pieces are just regular old pieces of wood. They don't have no kind of cuts, grooves, markings, but they slide right in. Right into the grooves of the face and the sides. Go ahead and put the second piece in. There we go. This is where we get to the top part, or the back part. Now, everything may not fit so perfectly sometimes, so, but it will go in. It just, you'll have a bow edge or maybe a splinter, so it can be a little bit difficult to go in sometimes. But for longer boxes, if you just lift up here, it'll most of the time go right into this back groove. And then we take our 18 gauge. We want to come down about a 1/4 inch and just like so. Same thing with the other side. Want to make sure that everything here and here is squared off. So no overhang, no difference. So next we have our box full of little screws and our hinges. Make sure you don't throw this away. You do need this. All right, so we have a few different screws in here. We have our long screws. We have, now, our second longest screws. The difference between, you have flat top screws and then you have rounded top screws. Now, the biggest difference is these two screws. So, the smaller screw is a 1/2 inch long. The bigger screw is 5/8. Now, these bigger screws only go into the hinges. We'll get to that a little bit later. We can put all that to the side now. I'm going to go ahead and separate our screws so that we don't mess up. We take all our little screws, put them over here. And then we have these brackets. So these brackets is what is going to hold the face, add a little bit more security to the box. And when we do these, there's two little areas we want to aim for. So you want to aim for the back corner of the circle. And you want to be as straight as possible with these, but you still want to aim for that back corner. Same thing with the top one. Top back corner. And now, sucks everything up right there. And I'm gonna go to the other side. Now, if if you have a bigger box, say one that's 42 by 42, you're going to want to put more than just one of these little metal brackets. But you're going to want to space them out. So say this is a 42 long box. You're going to want to put another bracket here and another bracket here on both ends, just to add a little bit more security. But since this is such a small box, we only need one on the face. All right, and this is where the big screws come in. So the big flat top screws. There's always going to be pre-drilling on the back here. You're going to see a hole. It's always pre-drilled. You don't have to worry about that. You just sink your screws all the way in. Let them do the work. Now, this is pretty much complete. Now we just have our doors. Now we want to go ahead and put our bumpers on so that we make sure that these doors don't damage the frame any, just in transport or just being handled. Don't want too much banging going around or they will be a little scuffed up. Go ahead and pop our little holes for our hinges. Now everything's going to be pre-drilled already. So these holes for the hinges, where the hinges go on the door, everything comes pre-drilled, so you don't have to worry about measurements, stuff like that. Now this is where our 5/8" screws come in, so the little larger ones, and they go right in. You don't want to over sink them because they'll strip out. They'll basically make your hinges loose. Just enough to be secure, but not overly secure. And now to the frame. So you have holes right here. That's basically what you want to match up to your pre-drilled holes on the frame. And there we go, just like that. And this is where our round top screws come in. So the big ones, but with the round tips. Those are for our hinges. You want to give it a couple more tugs where the drill stops you from, because if you don't, you'll have a little bit of movement there. So with that one, it's okay to tighten it just a little bit to hold them hinges. All right, and now our 3015 wall box is complete.